hey, let's start recording. So I've been wanting to do this for a while, but this is what happens when I start going through lives. So come with me, and I'll show you what happens. By the way, this is my main account. Got some videos on here. Check them out.
So here's a funny one. A modder for the
evolves, and we will literally connected to certain things as we go by.
Invited her or weren't treating her properly or were taking her serious.
But this is like the
Yes, I would say that they need to be safe, and you and I both agreed on it. But you're also the one making the claim that it doesn't matter. So I would say that would all be part of your side, your burden of proof, right?
Wait, burden of proof for what? I'm not proving, first of all, anything.
Fine.
Yeah,
you did say it is your point.
This is correct. You have the is-ought fallacy backwards.
16-year-olds should vote?
We are saying...
That's crazy.
See if Danielle
full stack.
wanted to
there goes.
pop all that
This
with
person
me.
hates me.
Well, did
Let's
you
see
what
where it went.
They added you in chat, though.
Yeah, watch this.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, real.
Is that who it is?
Is that the one that's live?
No, it's a bigger live. It's over this shit. I've talked to Danielle about it.
Yes, you did so good in there the other day, hon. You came in here afterwards, but you were phenomenal.
Are they attacking Shannon on their live or no?
No, they are not attacking Shannon. It's just they disagree with almost everything that she agrees with.
They.
Sorry, that they agree with.
If I may, real quick, Divergent, do you see the request box?
Let me see.
VF.
Yeah, VTF specifically says age limit 13 and only has video game stuff on their profile. I'm not. I'm also not a big fan of any of the clans, as we have had some that have been that have raided my daughters. So VTF, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, and they also.
Okay.
Did
you see the other person?
Yep, I'm a grown up, but I know some people don't necessarily want to share space, so I would make an announcement first. I'm fine. I'm a mutuals. Nikki Starkiller has requested to come up. Is there anyone that would need to leave the space if that were to happen?
Nikki's been really. I'm not sure.
They're using. Hold on.
Honestly, I would. Yeah, I would.
Their username.
I'm not sure.
I'm okay with that.
I feel comfortable.
Hold on.
What's who?
Their username.
Nikki Starkiller is in the requests.
Starkiller.
In my opinion, Nikki's been really civil lately and not problematic.
I don't see that.
Like I said,
I got it here.
I don't know.
So, like I said, I am mutuals with them, and
it says Queen of the Trans Women wanna be on video podcast.
Oh, thank you, Del. Our bones specialist is here.
I think we can. No, I don't know. It's up to the host.
Sorry, that was my roommate.
It's up to the host if they want the one that is requesting to come up here.
Honestly, I've never spoken to them in on TikTok ever in my entire life.
So that's a no.
And I'm not sure I want to change that.
Okay, that's a no then. You can let Will.
Alex.
Thanks, Mark.
Let me just.
Sit back a little bit sleepy.
Would be interesting. Yes. Hold on. Let me just check something here. Oh,
but if we do have someone on the panel that would be uncomfortable, then I will respect that. Like I said, I am mutual.
I think
so
if Shannon says no, then I'm gonna say no either. No as well. I should say not either. No, either. Why?
And Passion Flower, I do see you, hun, but we've only got one box currently open for op.
Oh.
You have been civil, Nikki. Like I said, you and I are mutuals, but I know that some people have got strong opinions, and if they were here first, it's.
I would prefer, and I know that they're probably. Are they still here? Hold on.
Yeah, she's in the comments. She said that she's been civil.
I know. Okay, hold on. I'm an up, but I'll be nice. You mean up?
Well, then that would defeat the purpose, Nikki. We've got to keep one open for all. We've got all friendlies up here right now.
Mm-hmm.
I see you, and I'm sure that we will.
But
we will
you
end
don't
up in a
follow
space.
Shannon, and Shannon doesn't know you, so they're saying no. I don't know you personally, and I'm saying no.
Okay. Puppy, real quick, y'all. Puppy, what you're doing right now is what everybody was trying to stop you from doing. Divergent was in the middle of a sentence, and you cut her off in order to speak for Shannon, a grown human being. So just wait 1 second, love, and let Divergent finish speaking, okay?
Well, and like I said, I'm also mutuals, and a nice op right now. I don't know. It's ultimately up to the host. And like I said, if there is someone here already on the panel that would be uncomfortable, Nikki, I can't do that to them.
Wait. Okay.
Right, I agree.
No.
Hold on. I'm going to do something real quick so we can get a fair opinion. Okay, sorry. I'm outside. For fuck's sake.
Are you bringing them up?
Okay.
Because if you do,
All right.
I'm gonna.
If Nikki Starkiller should come up, smiley face. If she should not, cry face.
Oh! You have to put it in the chat. I forgot.
I thought you didn't want them to come up.
Moderators are unable to participate in any of the polls.
I'm sorry, I forgot how to do it. The mods can't do it. Apparently,
I can't do it. Oh, wait,
I don't know why. I don't know why mods can't vote in the poll. That makes no sense.
Because TikTok sees it as being biased.
That would make sense.
Divergent, I'm not going to vote because I am indifferent. So what would you like your vote to be? I will put mine as yours.
No, it's okay. Like I said, I'm mutuals. I've not had bad interactions with Nikki. I actually became mutuals with Nikki when someone that was briefly part of my TikTok family was accused of taking a screenshot from one person's live and running over to Nikki's live and tattling, and the situation never happened, but we became mutuals so that we could have that conversation.
Hold on a second, Sleepy Puppy, please.
Puppy, you're doing it again. Wait, hon.
But like I said, we've been mutuals ever since, and the one account that we weren't mutuals on, we recently became mutuals, so.
Okay, so I didn't see the results of the poll. Did the majority of people say yes or no?
Yes.
It was a yes.
So, okay.
Okay.
Then if she's still in the request box, go ahead.
All right, real quick. Puppy, me lovingly telling you to wait a second does not mean I want you to leave. I do the same thing to Small when they don't wait a second. It's just like, it's just asking you to wait a second. It's not saying, hey, you have to leave.
Yeah, just one at a time.
Who the hell? Okay, did somebody snag Josh? Who the hell was Josh down there?
Josh?
It looks like it looks like Nikki. Did you grab that? Nikki, Mod Nikki in the comments. Did you snag the Josh person?
Oh.
Puppy, we just had the poll, and the poll was in favor.
Yeah. It's a polite conversation.
Divergent, do you want to let her up, or should I?
Nikki's already in the box. Nikki, have you had such a dramatic entrance before?
No. I mean,
there's a whole court hearing.
Yeah, it happens every once in a while, you know. But yeah, I haven't been on Shannon's. I haven't been on her live yet. But you always have pretty backgrounds. I'll say that. But,
thank you. Oh, and my pronouns are they them. Just so you know.
That's what I said they, didn't I?
You know,
I'm seeing her.
I think you said you have pretty backgrounds, so I think you avoided it completely.
Oh, okay. Well, sorry. Isn't you still a pronoun? You and I, yep, whatever.
No,
anyway,
I meant you avoided the potential landmine completely.
Probably. I don't know. No, I know that Shannon goes by they them, so. Like I said, I see Shannon a lot on, you know, and stuff like that. And yes, Divergent Mama, I see you a lot places. I think the last live we were actually in, you actually left because there was too much. What was it? Too much
over speaking.
Yeah.
Everybody was talking at once, and then it kind of went down a nerd category that I'm not familiar with.
We were nerding out hard, and you're just like, yeah, I can't take this anymore. I'm leaving.
Well, yeah, I didn't have anything to contribute, and it was just chaos. And I mean, when I get up, I take my meds. My meds help me focus, but as the night goes on, they slowly wear off. And then the overstim, yeah, it was rough. It had nothing to do with you, though.
Yeah. But as far as like the topics, the cis, I just don't use it. I'm not. For me, I just don't really care.
We didn't hear you. You cut in and out.
Oh, I'm sorry. So as far as the topics goes, like the first one, I don't really talk about that one because at the end of the day, I don't really care. You know, if somebody doesn't want to be called cis, I'm not going to use it. If they want to be called cis, then I'll use it, right?
Yeah.
So for me, I don't care. Could it be a slur? Yeah, depending on how you're using it and stuff like that. But most of the time, it's not. You know, but.
Well, I would say it's an insult for sure. People can use it as an insult. The word itself is a scientific term. It can't be a slur because slurs are something said with malicious intent, meant to defame somebody's character, and are used against the oppressed.
Yeah, but see, I also use this too, like during the Apollo missions, when they were going around the moon, when they were on this side of the moon, they were in cis orbit, and when they were on the other side of the moon, they were in trans orbit.
Right.
Like people don't understand, like scientifically, like the terms cis and trans have been used in other things, especially molecular biology that it's really used in because
they're talking about cis covalent bonds. Also in geology, I believe.
Yeah.
Yep.
So like
geology, chemistry, and biology.
It's used for a lot of things, but the thing is a lot of people's. So the reason why they say it's a slur is because of how it came about. That it was that, it was a woman who said it first, but apparently there was pre-coined by a known pedo German guy who coined cissexual, right? But he didn't coin cisgendered, where the coining of cisgender was first used by a woman, I believe, a cis woman yeah, huh? Yeah. So it was used by a cis woman, but.
But my response to that, though, is if we find out that Benjamin Franklin was a kitty fiddler, would we all just boycott electricity?
I know what I mean? But exactly. So, like, I had a list of like known pedos who invented things that we use every day.
Real quick, it's PD30 just for TikTok's sake, so
okay, sorry.
Full Stack doesn't get bananas, please.
Yeah, I don't want to.
I would be interested in that because I was actually at one point going to go down that rabbit hole to see what I could find.
Oh, it's a rabbit hole.
Is it?
I have heard that it was associated with a doctor, cissexual was.
Yeah, he was a
and that doctor was
hell?
during the Yahtzee time.
Yeah.
But I didn't hear that he was a P3DO.
Oh,
I heard that he had friends that were 3PDOs.
Yeah. So what was the Sigler or Sigla? I forget what his name was.
Yeah, I don't remember.
And it's just like, oh, you guys know who invented gender ideology? John Money. No, he just basically coined it. But yes, he did bad things to people. But he coined it in a different way. Like I don't know. It's it's. And then Alfred Kinsley, and then they're just like, yeah, but that's just how it was coined. But gender has actually throughout times has come and gone,
Yeah.
So.
Well, I would say if you guys don't know this, Dana DeFosse was just interviewed by the Huffington Post, and they did an entire article on her where she talks about how she came up with the word to bring people together and not have people othered, and she's very angry that it's being used the way that it's being used. It's a good read. I would suggest it.
So she's angry. Dana is angry of how it's being used.
She's angry that people are saying it's a slur, like on TikTok. I mean, on Twitter and stuff.
Yeah, Twitter doesn't allow it. Well, X doesn't allow it. Whatever, it's still Twitter.
Right.
I'm verbally raising my hand.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, okay. Danielle, go ahead.
Sorry, the chat doesn't work and I'm also in the middle of making dinner. So, what I was going to say is that no one is saying that there aren't people who haven't used it, right, as like a personal attack, let's say. But the difference is that as a cis person, right, I have never been oppressed for being cis. I've been oppressed for many other things, but not for being cis, and that's why it can't be a slur. Does that make sense, Nikki?
Yeah, no, I understand. But I would say just towards you that it's never been used as a slur. But I have witnessed it.
No.
I have witnessed it being thrown at people just for the sake of throwing it at it and essentially being mean to said person.
Right, but there's a difference between saying something mean.
Yeah.
Right, there's a difference between saying something mean and an actual literal slur. And a slur is something thrown at somebody who has been oppressed, usually, but not limited to a minority group. Yeah. As a, like, just for being cis, right? I'm not talking about, like, I'm black and gay, right? I'm not talking about anything else. I'm just saying for being cis. Cis people have never been oppressed for that reason. So it is not a slur. Ever.
I listened to an older woman go into a space, and she was very, very upset because someone called her a cishead. And they tried desperately for a very long time to explain to her that it was probably cis and probably het. And she was just adamant that they had called her a cishead and that they meant it in a bad way. It was
so weird.
Both hysterical and kind of precious at the same time.
So weird.
Hello, Danny.
Hi.
Sorry, Nikki. I'm just saying hi. Hold on.
But like I said,
okay, Nikki,
I don't.
Go ahead with what you were saying. Go ahead.
There's a question in the chat that says, where is cis used? And that's kind of my point is if trans exists, then cis does. Up, down, black, white, in, out. We have words for things that are opposites. So for that reason, it exists in the contrast of, and technically cis has always been the opposite of trans. We've just attached gender to it. As a rule, whether one likes it or not, if they're gender and sex aligned, they are a cisgender person. I am an adult enough to say, okay, if you don't like it, that's fine. I also point out that we're not walking down the street poking each person in the chest as they pass by going, you're cis, you're trans, you're cis, you're cis. We don't do that. And primarily it is only used on TikTok in trans and queer inclusive spaces. And so if people are offended by just hearing the word, even though it may not be, and I've been yelled at for identifying as a cis woman. I have had people tell me they don't like the word, and I was like, I wasn't talking about you. If they are so morally offended by it and find it to be some sort of swear word type equivalent, first of all, it doesn't get filtered by TikTok. But neither does the word cunt either. So, I mean, go figure. But if they are so horribly offended by it, then they need to not come in the queer and trans inclusive spaces, because real world, this is where you're going to hear it. You're not going to hear it out in your normal life unless you physically go into queer and trans inclusive spaces.
All right, I'm raising my hand. I'm currently raising my hand.
Okay, go ahead.
So, like,
go ahead, Nikki. Oh, thank you.
You guys know that I deal with the other side a lot. I deal with the right side a lot. And they come in and it's like, I went to this trans space and they kept on going. I was like, do you know how to read a room? And I'm like, it's going to be used in trans spaces generally only. Like 99% of the time, it's used in trans spaces or in a space where they're talking about trans topics, right? 99% of the time, right? So I tell them read the room, but they're just like, well, I wanted to go in and tell them that I'm not cis and stuff like that. Then don't come back to me and complain to me. You did it to yourself.
Right.
It's called reading the room, right? You know? I think we all go to certain lives and we reread the room and then we go from there, right? So
Yeah. Like when I go into black spaces, I don't just start commenting or asking to come up. Like I sit in the comments and I read the comments and I listen to the live and I get educated.
yeah. You know,
I'm looking. Z, can you bring me some
I appreciate that.
clarification so I'm not scrolling through
I
to figure
read
out?
the
You said
room, Echo.
I'm trying to find what Z was talking about.
Sorry.
right.
So somebody just mentioned that they added me, but I'm not a mod, so I didn't want to say anything. But I guess they wanted to bring to somebody's attention that Puppy was being aggressive towards Nikki in the chat, but I'm not a mod, so I didn't want to speak for anybody.
I sent Puppy a message.
Okay.
I think that's why they left. He was trying to do from the comments what he was doing in the chat.
If Puppy is still here, Puppy, we had conversation. You actually said that you weren't sure who the person was. The only person that had any opposition is still here, and we took a poll for the room, and the host made a decision. And you were advocating very strongly for the host's decision initially when the host said, I don't think so. The host changed their mind. I would hope you would continue to advocate for their decision.
Thank you, Divergent.
But everybody keeps on asking if I'm an op. Yeah, I'm an op for the gender affirming care for children. The cis topic doesn't. I'm not cis, so I don't really care about it, right? Just like abortion topics, I don't really talk about them. It's not my issue. It's not going to be my issue. And I'm pro. I don't care what you do.
All right, Nikki. So I have
You
a
know
question.
what I mean? Yes.
So I understand that much like everything else, op has to be opposing. In your opposition of gender affirming care for kids, is it totality? Is it special circumstances? Because the problem I have with it is when we make laws, it removes the right of the parent to seek care.
I understand that. So I don't. So me being a conservative, I believe in small government. So I don't think that the government should have their hand in this. Just like I don't think that the government should have a hand on abortion. I don't think the government should have a hand in marriages either. Like to me, it's just like I'm all for like small government, but as far as like gender affirming care for children, because of the processes that I've gone through and know what that HRT has done. And yes, I've had surgeries, but as far as like what HRT has done to me, it changed me drastically. Absolutely loved it, and worked out in my favor. I from my sense, but I just don't want somebody who like a younger person to go through it. But Divergent Mama, you did just say special circumstances. There are special circumstances where certain people that I would say there is dysphoric kids out there, and obviously they need certain things and stuff like that, and they probably need the help. But I would, for me, I'm strongly for like psychiatrists, psychologists, or counselor therapists, to maybe address maybe some underlining issues, right? Because I knew that when I was starting, like estrogen, testosterone is a totally different thing, but estrogen itself essentially made me more have anxiety and depression, especially the first year. It's actually kind of whirlwind. But did I have underlying issues? I probably did, right? And actually, I've basically gone through all of them because I had issues. I had childhood trauma and stuff like that. So, and that's been dealt with. So I've been doing much better. And actually, since May 1st, I haven't taken any HRT since. But I was also post-op for almost a year when I stopped. But the thing is, it's like the gender affirming care. There is a case by case basis, and I understand that. I understand that there is special cases and things like that. But for the majority, I would say when you're 18, do whatever you want. And I actually tell people on the right side, they said, well, your brain doesn't fully develop till you're 25, and I tell them that that's very un-American of you, that somebody has to wait until they're 25 to be able to do this, when at 18 they're allowed to vote, right? We know that in America we have 18-year-old is considered an adult. Yeah, you can't drink and smoke in most states, but whatever. But you have that voting right and you have that informed consent. So for me, 18, anybody can do what they want. Okay, I'm done monologuing. Sorry, Shannon.
Okay, I see.
Okay.
Were you going to
I was
Brian's
going
hand?
to say that for me, I knew that I wasn't a girl at 4 years old. I did all the boy stuff. At the time, there was girl stuff and boy stuff because this is like 1970, 1980, 1990. Painted my room blue and dressed like a boy and played with Legos, Transformers, built robots, had a pet snake, worked in the car, did the yard work, all that. And I didn't have words for what I was until recently. I've been diagnosed with gender dysphoria, and I am on hormones, although they're not cross-sex. It's just because I have way more testosterone and almost undetectable estrogen. So that's why.
Okay.
But I tried to unalive myself like 5 times because of gender dysphoria.
Twice for me. Twice, 2 attempts by me.
Yeah.
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 I
And
was
so
36,
I would.
Shannon, if you didn't know. I was 36 and I'm currently 41. So I'm just throwing that out there. But sorry, continue.
Well, I was going to say gender affirming care. I mean, it starts with therapy. I wish I had had therapy as a child
Same here.
so that I could understand who I was and, start addressing that so I didn't have to try to unalive myself. It's 6 months to a year, even 2 years of therapy and social transitioning before anything else is done.
See, I had a friend in high school who transitioned, but she had to wait. The doctor said that she had to be socially out for at least a year before they would even talk about prescribing them HRT. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the old criteria was different.
Yeah, I know, and I almost kind of wish that that we had standards for both people under the age of 18 and standards for people over the age of 18, because with my
Besides the WPATH?
Hold on.
I think there needs to be more structure than WPATH, but sorry.
Okay.
Pulse had his hand up, but I also have
Divergent Mom, go ahead.
Are you sure, Brian? Your hand was up. Okay, my question
you're good.
is, okay, my pointed question to you, because I don't know if you remember, but I am the special magical unicorn that has 2 trans kids. And I've got one of each, so watching the hormones with each one and watching the struggles with one coming out underage, one coming out overage. As a trans woman, though, where do you stand? Now, I understand it case by case, right? If it is something significant, but from my perspective, the testosterone-driven hormone causes so many more irreversible physical attributes that are much more
deeper voice,
drastic.
Yeah.
Well, like my daughter's got a very heavy brow and is 6'3" and size 13 shoe. Those sorts of things that my heart breaks because some of those things we can't change at all. Other things, like FFS, I don't think people understand how graphic and crazy that is to, I tell people they take off your face, put it on your chest and grind down your skull.
Yeah, and I went through it. I know. I had
Right.
my brow bone shaved down. Yeah.
Right. So
But I got a
knowing,
facelift out of it.
yeah, cheater. But knowing how severe some of those are and how some of those just can't be changed. Like I said, shoe size for her is terrible. Trying to find feminine shoes.
Yeah.
Where does that sit in the, in the coulda, woulda, shoulda? If I had an ex that used the term druthers. If you had your druthers, I'd rather whatever happen. Would you have changed it where you didn't have to go through that testosterone puberty?
Well, see, so that's the thing for me. Like, I know that I can't go back in the past, and people cannot go back in the past to change certain things. And let's just say, even if we did go in the past and the person, we took them off testosterone, how do you not know that they would have been taller anyways? How do you not know that their foot wouldn't have been taller? Because we know that there's cis women out there, that are naturally taller, bigger feet, and stuff like that. So, like, and then obviously because we know that, like Shannon just said that they have, higher testosterone than a normal female, but very little estrogen. So even within like cis women and cis men, there's still fluctuations within said hormones, so you don't know what could happen or what did happen, right? So maybe your kid was just going to be a tall kid anyways, but with testosterone, I don't know. Like, that's one of those things, because we know that these things work differently. Everybody's body is completely different, and I just don't think it. Where am I going? I don't know where I'm
What
going.
about with the
Sorry.
FFS alone, though? Would you have changed having to do that?
No, I like the fact that I got it done. I didn't have a really big brow bone per se, but I had enough. And that was just like the only thing that was really bothering me, So
Okay.
that's essentially why I got it. But for the people that I've seen some trans people that have really pronounced brow bones, but then when you look at their mom and dad, you're like, that's why they have really pronounced, because you can see it within their genetics, that some people have a more pronounced brow bone than others. And then we can say that there's some trans women out there that are blessed because their genetics, they didn't have pronounced brow bones, and they had really good skin, and they had really light hair. There's, I mean, sometimes it's a win some, lose some, right?
Yeah, that's fair. Like I said, it is with having one of each and seeing the dramatic differences in age and
Testosterone is strong.
oh yeah, yeah. And then I've got one more question that we tend to deal with quite a bit with gender expression. Where do you sit now? I don't know if they're regular adopted terms, but for my spicy brain, I have I need to put things in boxes in my brain. They have to
Uh-huh.
live places, and for a very long time, I could not wrap my brain around non-binary for the longest time because my brain is like, but it needs a box. So I've given it its own box, and so what I've done is kind of recognize that there are non-binary trans people and binary trans people. And I know some of the, older millennials, Gen X, I know that there were you were mentioning briefly, the standard of care was different.
Uh-huh.
For many trans women, they had to live as a woman for a year without the help of any medical intervention, and I think that's where some of the detransition stuff comes from, is if it's just too tough for them emotionally at the time, or jobs don't allow, whatever. But when we're talking about gender expression, as being a lesbian, who is very fucking het looking, it was hell dating in the 90s. I'm like, I had to wear shirts that said shit like strong enough for a man but made for a woman, just so people knew it was like, look at me. But in having that, and always having been attracted to the more androgynous, butch mask type women, I mean, we see among cis women that there is an absolute array of gender expression. But I am finding with a lot of the discussions we have here that there's a lot of binary belief, if you will, to have to display hyper femininity. I assume in the like need to be taken seriously. I don't know if that's the right word I want, but I feel like I've come across a lot of people that have been, we'll just say, 5+ years, 5 to 20 or 30 years in transition, where for them it was a very binary decision, and there
Mm-hmm.
seems to be a lot of adoption of that hyper femme presentation. I want to know where you sit with that.
No, I get what they hyperfem. Like, I remember when I first started, my mom's like, "Why do you gotta shave your legs all the time?" Because I want to, right? Because I think, see, and this is where I think that majority of trans women express that femininity, because we were never really that person to be able to express that, So like for me, I love wearing dresses. I love getting uh love making sure my hair is good and stuff like that. I used to wear a lot more makeup in the past, but now it's just like I just do my brows. Like I went to a queer event last night here locally here in New York, and I just put on red lipstick and I did my brows because I have glasses, so there's no need for me to do eyeliner anymore. So, and I was fine with that. But I think that since we haven't been able to be able to present as feminine as possible throughout, at least for me, I guess this is just anecdotal for me, that I want to be presenting femme because I want to conform to that gender of woman out in society. Because for me, what a woman looks like is essentially kind of like the women that I used to date. You know, so, and the women that I used to date used to be very feminine and stuff like that. So that's just, I think that's just where that comes from.
But do you recognize that where we're at in society, we have a lot of breaking the binary gender with expression. I know lots of
Yeah.
like straight guys that are doing like nail polish and eyeliner on the daily, and like I said, just looking
But
at the lesbians that I was attracted to, they were still women. They were still, they never identified as anything else.
yeah, but I was an emo kid back in the day, so I wore eyeliner all the time. I painted my,
There,
so I would go to like, what is that store? Shit, not Old
Hot
Navy.
Topic.
No,
Nikki,
just
I'm sorry, just real
sorry.
quick. Divergent wasn't finished speaking. If
Oh,
you
I'm
could give
sorry.
Divergent the time to finish, please.
Yeah, no problem.
Oh yeah, yeah. Sorry. But just like I said, there seems to be a big movement outside of anyone's sexuality or gender identity. We seem to be in the middle of another kind of body positivity sort of thing, where we've got a prominent group of women that are no longer going to shave anything.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a lot of the PCOS women are like, screw it, I've got a beard now. That's just the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
I think in the middle of this body positivity and just be you and don't conform to those very binary expectations, I guess. I think if we combine that with the non-binary, genderqueer type people as well, I think we're going to have this massive wave of things that don't fit into those binary boxes. And I know that many trans people that do ascribe to the binary presentation are being very vocal about that. How do
So
you
we
think that
know
we can bridge that gap between, and I'm just going to say old school and new school, and I'm older than you, so it's not a it's not a dig, but the old school binary, need to fit, if you will, versus the newer generation that is, regardless, like I said, of sexuality or gender identity, that is breaking a lot of the binary presentation. How can we make peace with this between the old school and the new school, and not have you being called a medicalist because you chose to do all the things that you've done to give that very binary presentation, versus the other end of the spectrum where, I mean, my daughter has been verbally assaulted on this app repeatedly, because her medical care is progressing, but it's very slow. She has been on HRT for, I think it's coming up on 6 years. It might be 5, but she still doesn't fit in the hyperfem binary box. And there's a lot of people that are mid-transition. There are a lot of people who aren't making the same choices, and I think that that's causing a lot of problems within the community as a whole. How can we recognize that times are changing and everything in between is okay as well?
other people have their hands up, so like Shannon, and the person across from you also had their hand up too. So,
Oh, okay.
unless you want me to
Thank
answer,
you.
but
Well, will you forget what the question was if you don't answer right now?
no, I know what I'm gonna say.
Okay, okay. So I am non-binary, agender. I knew I wasn't a girl, like I told you, but I also knew I wasn't a boy. I am more femme presenting during the summer, and I'm more masculine presenting towards the winter because I'm autistic and I like to wear dresses and shorts and stuff like that during the summer. I'm like obsessed with dresses because of a sensory issue. I like the airflow and everything. But oh God, what was I gonna say? But anyways, I've come out as non-binary, and a lot of people have a problem with that, which I don't understand. I get like unalive threats every day, all day long. If it's not in the chat, then they go put it on my videos or they DM me or things like that. So, I don't know. I just wanted to share my experience. Small, do you want to talk?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I've been like listening to everybody else, and then like some people in the comments are saying they're just being weird and they're being moronic. So there was one person that had literally one follower. I went on their profile and they made this profile 24 hours ago just to be a troll. So
You want to tell me which one it is, and I'll kick them out?
okay, let me see. Where are they? I think you might have got them. Hold up. There it is. Dragon9 the Divine has one follower, and they made this account recently.
Yeah, they keep spamming.
No bio, like no nothing. This is just a troll or a bot or something.
Can't seem to find him. I was looking.
All right, they're out.
Thank you.
George, if we have the name, you can just go up in the viewer list and we can block and mute them from there.
But yeah, they kept trying to say or trying to target the host, saying you can't define cis or you can't do this, you can't do that. I'm like, literally, they are
What
not
about
looking at you.
if you were watching the chat? What's going on with Southside Serpent, who's claiming that they were also attacked?
They came in here very rudely and strongly about how they felt, and then when people were rude back, they got upset.
Southside Serpent is trolling and doesn't like my responses.
Okay,
I've
so they're upset that people match their energy.
Yeah.
I've been
Go ahead,
told
Brian.
I've been told by Shannon as being a mod just to block them if they have unaliving threats or misgendering. So that's basically all what I'm doing is looking for that. So
Okay.
if anything else
I've got a
Shannon
little more
wants
leadway
to
if it
do,
becomes
then
problematic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
I would like to give Nikki a chance to respond.
Yeah. Okay. So
Before she does, can I verbally raise my hand? Because I've
Yeah,
had my hand
Danielle's
raised
been
in the
trying to
comments
talk.
since she spoke the very first time. No one is seeing
Okay,
me.
Z.
Oh,
Yeah,
and
let Z
that's
go.
Danielle. You have
Yeah, it's Danielle.
Yeah.
Danielle's been
Oh,
trying to
Yeah,
talk.
that's
Danielle.
me.
Okay, I'm sorry, Nikki. How about we wait just one more second
Yeah,
and let
no problem.
Danielle,
No
since,
problem.
yeah, okay.
No. She can go. I just wanted to verbally raise my hand because the comments don't work, and I can't. I just my anxiety won't let me be on camera. I'm sorry, y'all. You can go first. I just wanted to verbally say that.
All right. So the answer divergence, like, how can we come to a consensus of the old times and like the new times, right? Well, it's the same thing with like between like millennials and baby boomers, right? You're not really gonna get the different generations are never gonna, because we lived in a different time. Times were different, especially when I was a kid. Times were very different. I'm currently 41 years old, so it kind of goes back to like you can't teach an old dog new tricks, right? I would say, because we're
But Nikki,
basically stuck
I'm
in our ways.
51.
Yeah, but we're basically stuck in our ways. Majority of
I'm
us are still going to
56
be
and I'm
stuck in our
very
ways.
open. No,
Wait,
I'm
no,
56.
no speaking over people, please. George, were you trying to say something?
No, Danny was offering that. I'm sorry, I
Oh,
don't know if you were or not, George, but Danny was saying that you're 60. Is
I'm
that what you said?
56, and I
56. I know there's a six in there.
absolutely don't. I will not accept people saying, "Well, they're from an older generation." You still were alive during all the others, and if somebody chose not to, I don't know, learn, that's nobody's fault but their own.
Yes, exactly. But nobody's going to do that. That's the problem. You have
Well, that's
learned,
their
and
problem.
that's the
That doesn't give them the right to control our lives.
yeah. But the majority
Right,
of
but
them, it is their problem because the majority of them don't want to change the ways that the ways that they think. You obviously have changed the ways that you think, and have actually talked to and kind of like conformed from generation to generation, and like listened to the other generations where other people haven't. I would say the
I
majority of
guess
the
that was kind of
majority of the generations don't want to change because
And that
we,
doesn't give them a pass.
right, and that's and
understandable. It doesn't give them a pass, but what it does is that's the reality that there's a lot of people that just aren't going to change because of how they grew up.
and I get that from both sides. I mean, as a Gen Xer, I have had conversations with people and just been absolutely blown away with how concrete they are
Mhm.
in what they think they know. They're the ones that come into the spaces oftentimes and talk about delusion, and then they follow that up with Trump 2024, when the imbecile literally, literally confessed to crimes on camera. So
So
it's
that topic's not on the board, so let's not talk about that.
right. No, but it cracks me up though that they are the ones that are the loudest with the words delusional. But I guess it's not so much like just going, well, people suck and they're not going to change. But I think I was trying to brainstorm with you, Nikki, and try to figure out
Yeah.
how to help bridge some of that gap with the stubborn people. With, like I said, just talking about how there's so many movement, and I know that there is other problematic stuff, but
Uh-huh.
Lizzo, began the a body
Body
positivity
positive.
movement, and yeah, we just have a lot of that going on with the accepting, and I feel like when you combine the body positivity with trans people, you may end up in today's world with the movements, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
with less dysphoric
Well,
problems. I don't know if that's the right word, but if, and I'm not saying, absolutely
yeah.
no changes that anybody would ever want to make, but I think that we're coming to a point where it might be easier to not have to conform to those binaries, and just like I said, I'm just trying to bridge the gap
Mm-hmm.
and stop the you're not trans enough for the trans club fights that keep
You can't
happening.
say hey. Yeah. No, I totally get what you're saying. And the thing is that you know I am a binary transsexual woman. Um, we already established that. I follow the binary. I conform to the binary. That's just how it is. But we do know that there's tomboys and femboys, or yeah, tomboys and femboys all the time, right? So a person's expression, right, is going to be different from person to person. That's why gender expression has its own category, because it's going to be different from person to person. Like I would say, Shannon, when they were younger, they were essentially a tomboy, right? But didn't want to be a boy, but did a lot of more masculine things. But I would say that was their gender expression. But gender expressions also changed, just like fads also changed. You remember bell bottoms were like huge in the 70s, and then in the late 90s, the late 90s, they came back again. The
Oh dear
stuff.
God, my 35-year-old daughter wears them, and I just wish they would go away and stay away.
Yeah, yeah. But what I'm saying is that
Sorry.
things come and go all the time. So if people are not like, if women aren't shaving their armpits, then that's just how they're expressing themselves. And maybe they're just lazy and just don't want to do it, or maybe they just want to piss off cishet white males, right? Middle-aged white males. I don't know.
Or
Cause
they have a skin condition and can't.
true, but I would
There's
say fuck the patriarchy, right?
Yes, that's
It's
what I was
kind
going
of
to
like
offer.
that. Sorry if I didn't. I'm trying to be polite, Shannon, but like fuck
I
the
know, Nikki, it's
patriarchy.
hard, isn't it?
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I'm
But
Sorry,
I
so
mean,
just giving you shit.
I I have a question for you. You were making it sound, or at least I understood it as that this could be a phase for me. Is that
no, no,
what
no,
you were
no, no,
saying?
no. I'm saying like when you were younger, like you probably have changed phases anyways, or because like judging by like when you were younger, you were a girl, but you did masculine things and stuff. But now, as I take it now, like summer you're more, or summer and spring you're more girly, and in winter and fall and winter you're more masculine, right?
Right.
So I'm saying like the phases have changed a little bit for you.
Well, I think the
Where
Oh,
available
yeah.
vocabulary too. When you said
yeah,
tomboy, when my son first came out, he very briefly was gender fluid, and when
uh-huh.
explaining to me that there's this kind of vacillation between the two, I, in
Kind
my
of
ripe
what?
old age, went
What was that word?
that he vacillated between the two,
What? Okay, what's vacillated? I'm
like
sorry.
went back and forth.
Okay, sorry.
And so, well, no, and for me, who's been in the queer community my entire adult life, I was like, so you're a tomboy. Why do you need new words? Like
Uh-huh.
that's literally the conversation that I had, and then understanding that, you know, we have progressed and there's new vocabulary and there's new definitions and kind of getting through that. I think that's where Nikki was coming from, Shannon, in that that's the terminology we had probably when you were younger.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
That makes sense.
Danielle's got their hand up.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Danielle.
No, if you were gonna say something, full stack, you can go. I'm patient.
Me? Oh,
Yeah.
I'm getting my soup out of the microwave. I was just saying, I was just trying to clarify what Nikki was meaning, but I understand now, so you can go ahead.
Um. Yeah. So I actually had a lot to say, but the I think I may need to take my child to the hospital.
Oh my God.
His entire body is red, and I am extremely lightheaded. So I think we have some type of heat exhaustion happening, and
Oh.
uh,
Have you checked your CO2?
Pulse
how do I
points.
do that?
Well, you can't check CO2 unless you have a CO2 monitor, but if you
No,
Monitor.
believe it
the
is heat
problem with
related,
CO, carbon monoxide.
right, sorry.
No,
But
so we
if you
have
think
central
it's
air,
okay,
and my,
Danielle,
wait a second. We have central air, and my landlord is fucking with our air, and when you set it to whatever the fuck you set it to, it goes up. So right now it's currently 98 degrees inside.
okay. What I
And
need
then
you to do right now before you do anything else is get some washcloths. Do not do ice. Get them in some cool water and your pulse points for you and your kid. You want to wrap one around each neck, or one around one around each of your necks, the wrists
he won't
and the
let me.
ankles.
He won't let
That
me.
will help.
Okay.
He's on. No, I'm not being smart.
No,
Divergent.
no, no, no.
He's on the severe end of the spectrum. He can't tolerate that. He'll freak out.
Okay.
Yeah. He's not. He's not completely verbal. So I don't know if he actually feels as dizzy as I do. But his
Okay. What
entire face
about
is red, like
can
he's standing in the sun, and it's midnight here. Sorry.
I would go, hun.
Yeah, I
If
would
you're not
go.
going to be able to cool him down
Really
with
go?
pulse points and you're not feeling well, I would go. I mean, even just
I
in the
don't
car
care
with
about
the
me. I
AC
just care
on,
about him.
even if you
Yeah.
just get in the car and drive with the AC on,
Yeah, I
I
can
don't have
get
a
that really
car. I'd
fast.
have to call an ambulance or an Uber.
I would
I
call
would
an
call the
ambulance.
ambulance.
Yeah, an ambulance, not a neighbor.
Because if you're dizzy
Yeah.
and warm, if you're waiting on an Uber, you may pass out before they get there.
Especially if this is CO rather than heat.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, if he's messing with the AC, there may be something coming through.
Uh-huh. I've seen cases. I'm an engineer, so I've studied a lot of different
Okay.
stuff, and I've seen cases. That's what scares me.
That
Well,
just
if it
seems
was
like a
just me, I would just.
lawsuit waiting to happen.
It's a
Yeah.
slumlord in South Texas. Ain't nobody gonna do crap to her.
Will he accept? Someone mentioned a sheet. Can you wet a bed sheet? Would he accept that?
More than likely not, no.
Okay.
I went and spent money I don't have buying fans, including one that he can carry around that's battery operated. But I don't know if you know, I mean, obviously, everybody here has seen somebody sunburnt. So my child is black, obviously, and his face is red as if he just got sunburned inside at
Please
midnight.
hang up from us and call, hun.
Yeah, call
And
911. That does sound like
pop
Yeah,
back in somewhere
definitely.
later
CO.
and give us an update. But please
Yeah,
hang up and
please.
call.
Yeah, I don't think this is
Yeah,
heat.
yep. I'm gonna do that. I just didn't
Okay,
wanna
good.
And please let us
be
know
rude,
when you
I
finish.
No,
guess.
go, be rude. Be
Yeah,
rude. Go
be
take care
safe.
of you, hun.
Be very rude.
All right,
Real
I
life
will talk
comes
to you guys.
before TikTok.
Okay.
Oh, I know that. I
Uh,
wasn't saying it like that. My child will always come first. I just didn't want to make it seem
I'm
like I
gonna
was
drop
upset.
you.
And,
I'm gonna
yeah.
drop you. Go
Okay.
call.
All right. Bye. Bye.
I absolutely, literally, I watch a ton of true crime and engineering fails, and I literally just saw a case about this. Somebody trying to save money fixing the AC themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's for someone
Yeah,
else.
that's dangerous. The dizziness and the red face is what gives it away for me.
Yeah, the red skin.
Yeah.
In fact, you can buy CO monitors fairly cheap. And here in California, by law, all rental homes, all rental properties have to have them.
I have one.
Skog, I was an electrical engineer. I designed different equipment, RF amplifiers for government, space, radar, stuff like that. But our stuff used and produced dangerous gases, so I had to be aware of a lot of that.
Sorry, y'all. Was not expecting that noodle to do that.
Yeah.
All right, Nikki, how are we going to fix it?
Where we were. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm just trying to fix, like I said, the you're not trans enough for the trans club arguments.
Wait a
What
minute.
is that? What do you consider that argument, Nikki? How do you feel about that argument?
I've been
There?
labeled as a trans medicalist, and I've been labeled as like, if you don't have genders for you don't have, you're not trans and stuff like that. You know, so I guess I'm kind of, I guess, Divergent Mom. You can say that I'm part of the people that are fighting for that. Like, you're not trans enough for the trans club and stuff like that. But also,
Yeah.
like, let's see, gatekeeping. You know,
Yeah.
gatekeeping trans. I'm probably
Yeah, and
I'm
that's
probably
why.
one of the people that is included in gatekeeping. You know.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I'm asking you these questions, because I
Yeah, I
can't
know.
ask other people that think
I
like
know.
me.
Yeah. No.
But I mean, you do recognize that the gender expression among cis people is varied and different, and you do recognize that there are movements that are happening that are allowing people to be more okay with things that are harder to change. Like I said, that's why I'm
Yeah.
asking you. It's
Yeah, I know. I don't know. I just, I guess I'm stuck in the old ways, right? You know, because I've talked to a lot of people who are transitioned 20 plus years, right? And I even talked to some people that still stealth to this day. You know, nobody knows that they're trans, right? Because that was the thing that they did back in the day, is that they did stealth.
oh
It wasn't
yeah,
like all like,
that was the goal.
it wasn't
Yeah.
in like the 80s, oh, I'm trans, like, look at me and stuff like that, like, and things like that. So I guess I am stuck in like the older days of like, I just want to live my life. I just want to go out in society and just blend in, even though I'm still the odd person out because I have a Chelsea Hawk. I'm still covered in tattoos. I've always been stared at my whole life, anyways, because I've had tattoos. But so for me, I'm kind of used to it, right? But I
Well,
lived in
and
South Carolina for a while, and I got called ma'am 100% of the time. It did not bother me. I went out in public and I did what I had to do. But
well,
but
and
Divergent,
I
the
You
thing
want a
understand.
is,
box?
and if I could just touch on this really quick, Divergent, the thing is that you've been a woman your whole life, right? I haven't.
Yep.
So you can just go out in public or out in society because you're just a woman. Whereas me as a trans woman, I have to do a little bit extra steps in order to make sure that when I go out in society, I'm portrayed as a woman. And then I'll end with that.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I can say that I understand that because when my kids came out, in my mind, it was a race to the other binary. It was a race to passability, right? We just need to get you there as quickly as we can and get you stealth. And they're actually the ones that helped me deconstruct that in my mind and begin to understand that, for some, it's not going to be achievable for various reasons. My daughter was her spironolactone within the first year. She had a stroke at 30. So that puts a wrench in her care. That there are things that happen and not everybody wants that. So I think what I'm hearing is the fear that the, we'll just say non-binary trans people might out out you guys. Because I do hear that where it's poor representation and that sort of thing. So is it maybe that, because the other thing I'm hearing is, the whole thing with student loans, we're not going to go into the argument, but if we just make secondary education free, the people that have paid off their student loans are like, but hey, I've paid my dues. And this kind of feels like that in that, just because I had it rough and I had to work 17 jobs to pay my way through school, these snot-nosed kids are just going to come up and screw everything up and get it for free. It kind of feels like that to me, right? But you know what I'm saying? Like, I understand, like I said, the old school. It was the race to passability and stealth and just go as undetected as possible. So is that maybe part of what's going on is if
Because that's the
the
way it was, though. And that's the way it was for the longest time. And now it's just like, it's out there, right? And the other thing, too, is self-ID is out there, too. And that's where a lot of people, like, especially conservatives, like people I talk to, they're just like, well, a guy can just put on a dress and go in the women's room. No, a predator is going to be a predator. But, like, do you realize that trans people have been using the bathrooms for decades?
But that's the
well,
conservative way of thinking. It's
Yeah,
right.
yes,
everybody needs to suffer.
yes, I know, but I don't see it that way. Like, I'm just saying the predator is going to be a predator, but this is new things, right?
Yeah, I have
Right.
a
It's not the
personal
transgender
anecdote.
community.
Right,
It's
I have a
every
personal
community.
anecdote that I offer up is
There's predators in every community. I'm saying that right now. We know that.
one of
Anyway,
one
sorry.
of my first abusers was the
Oh,
mall Santa Claus that my mother dated. So I'm like, people dress up as Santa Claus and nobody thinks twice about that, but you're worried about these bathroom situations.
uh-huh. Danny.
Yeah, I wanted to point out that Nikki stated that as a trans woman, she had to go through all this before she could go out. And as a cis woman, Divergent really didn't. And I think that's really wrong. That's more of a problem in your head, thinking you
No,
have
no,
to
no,
meet
no.
some criteria as opposed to
I
just
understand.
leaving the way you are.
I understand, but I'm not saying that I have to get dialed up and do all this stuff. But there is extra steps that I essentially have to do in order to go out in
You feel it's
society,
Right,
necessary
just
to
so I
do.
blend in within
right.
society. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah, it's an internalized thing, but I do
Yes.
understand that. I do understand that I can go out, I can forget to brush my hair, brush my teeth, I can wear, my son's clothes out, and I'm not ever going to be perceived as not a woman. Where for Nikki, who has that strong binary view of her womanhood,
Hmm.
if she doesn't do a little bit of something, there is that fear of being clocked. Yeah.
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 Small would talk.
Small, go ahead.
Okay, so one of the main issues with the bathroom argument that I've come to find out, and correct me if I'm wrong, but there are male gynecologists and male OBGYNs that are constantly invading what many women consider their privacy.
I was going to say women's literal spaces.
Yeah, women's literal spaces and privacy, yet you don't see any laws prohibiting men and anybody that's not
Well, they're gonna say that's their job, though.
Okay.
I don't think that Nikki is defending that. I think Nikki has an amount of realism to her to understand that every single demographic is going to have the assholes, the idiots, the people that take advantage of it.
But do you notice now that a nurse or a woman has to be in the room when a male doctor does that nowadays?
As a rule, for the most part, yes.
Where you are, though.
It's not every single time.
It's most of the time. In my case, and my ex-wife's, I was married to for 38 years. There was always a nurse in there if there was a male doctor.
That way, no funny business was going on.
Mm-hmm.
Werewolf, it's hard to hear you.
Sorry,
I don't know if it's your mic.
it's my mic. I'll try again.
Oh, there you go.
Hey,
I've got to hold
Hunter,
it
so good
like
to see
in
you.
my face.
So that would give the same argument that if, more than one woman was in a bathroom, then, the other women would be able to defend each other from predators.
I'm gonna say those are not essentially the same. I don't think that you can really correlate those two things.
If there's a nurse,
because one is somebody doing their job, the other is a public space.
How do you know that man is not doing this job to be a predator? How do you know?
I don't know.
And see, how about that doctor that treated, 300 or 400 girls and young women in that were in I don't forget what it's called, the tumbling and jumping, and he was convicted of assaulting, 150, 20000 of them.
Oh yeah.
The gymnastics coach.
Gymnastics, thank you.
Just a second.
Sports argument.
Just a second.
It
Just a
happens
second,
so
please.
often that they
Hold
literally
on.
have to have other people in the room to keep doctors from doing that.
I just want to say this is not a topic I feel comfortable talking about because of my own past experience. So I really don't want to talk about SA if we can.
Right. Yeah, but I don't think any of us, even when we talk about, the boogeyman that may buy a dress and may try to come in spaces, we cannot with any certainty say that something like that will never happen, because there's literally, predators are going to prey. I do try to bring up the fact that predators, nobody has a problem with predators that dress up as doctors, as Boy Scout leaders, as youth group leaders, as fucking Santa Claus in my case. It exists, and we're not ever going to say that it will never ever happen, but I think that boogeyman has been made so big currently. And my answer to that is, as a 51-year-old woman who pees more than anybody I fucking know, never once have I considered a public bathroom a safe space, and never once have I seen anyone else's freaking junk in a bathroom. So
I
these
pee just as
women need
much
to
as
calm the
you.
fuck down.
I pee just as much as you. I have overactive bladder and some other stuff, so I get it.
Yeah, me too. Damn it! Now that made me forget where I was going.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. That's my squirrel brain.
I have a public bathroom, and I always
For the
find
bathroom.
it. Go ahead.
Was it about the bathroom thing, Danny?
Yeah.
It might have sparked your thing if I said something about it.
I've been trying to think about that, and I'm just not seeing the right shiny part yet.
See, this is where problematic Nikki's going to come out. If you pass, you can piss. That's my stance.
Okay, so wait a minute. If you
Yeah,
can
see,
pass,
this is where the problematic Nikki comes out. So, yeah.
yeah,
If you
yeah.
pass, you can
I'm
piss.
not so
Yeah.
I'm not a passing man. I'm non-binary, but I've pissed in the men's bathroom before. No one has had a problem with it.
So
Oh, I
one
know
of the
what it was I
things.
wanted to say. Cishet men pretending to be trans women to go in and assault people, that's not a trans problem. That's a thug criminal cis het problem. That has nothing
Right.
to do with us. They can't use us as the excuse. It's an absurd excuse, to be quite honest.
So Nikki, I will often, when I'm in the other spaces having this discussion, I will often say that just about everybody we know owns a mirror. And I believe that the majority of trans people that are mid-transition understand how the world perceives them and will do what they can to avoid conflict.
Right.
I also know that AFAB people, we can get away with a lot more. Most women I know have spent some amount of time in a men's bathroom because the line was too long, it was out of order, we just don't care. But people that are perceived by the world as AFAB, that's also not a threat. If we hear a man that, well, the men's bathroom was busted, I just went in the women's bathroom, everybody tenses up. And so I think that for the AFAB non-binary people, it is a lot easier to either or without causing much of a ruckus. We do recognize that not all men are predators, but the majority of documented predators are men. And for a lot of people, they just cannot separate that trans women are not men. And that, I don't know how we're going to be able to fix that. But I think the softer way to say what Nikki was saying is that everybody knows how the world perceives them, and nobody wants, not nobody, but the mass majority do not want to have a conflict if they have to piss when they're out in public.
Yeah, I don't like the idea that you all have to pass. I was really concerned about that before I started transition. And about a year and a half into HRT, I realized I didn't give a fuck. I'm not trying to pass as anyone or anything but myself. Whatever that looks like. No, I haven't taken a whole lot of time to work on my voice. I'm very autistic and I forget to use that anyway. And I turn into a robot just spewing information. And I'm 56. That's not going to change anytime soon. I don't expect to look any more feminine. I also have genetic conditions, which means I don't do surgeries well. So am I supposed to just not be considered a woman because I don't pass in somebody's eyes?
Absolutely not.
I
I mean, you should, I don't know if I answered it correctly. I'm autistic too, but you should not have to deal with that.
But I would say passing by the majority of people. Obviously, we're gonna have people that saying, "Oh, you'll never pass." I actually have people from your side saying, "Nikki, you're a brick." They call me a brick all the time. To think that, and and stuff like that. But like, I don't know. I guess at the end of the day, it's like, if you feel like you should be in the women's room, then use the women's room. If you feel like you should be in the men's room, then use the men's room. But you
That's
also got
not
to
what
understand.
your side believes.
Can I finish? But we also got
Sorry.
to understand that society does dictate certain aspects, because my gender identity is based on the social and cultural differences rather than biological ones. So, does that make sense or no?
Nikki, if you identify as a trans woman, you are a biological woman. Everyone is
Oh my
biological.
god. I'm
I
not
do
having
like
this
the way you
argument
changed.
again.
I'm not
I know.
trying to have an
No,
argument with you. I'm just trying to say
I
that
was in another live earlier.
Well, okay, I'm not
I'm trying to be
trying to be
polite.
problematic here. I'm just trying
Yeah,
to
yeah.
say that everyone is biological.
Yes, I would agree that everyone is biological. Yes.
I do
You
find it
can say
interesting
that you're not, well, instead of saying biological woman, if you're referring to a woman that isn't trans, then you would say cis woman, not biological woman, because
No, I'm
trans
not
women
just
are
call
women
them a woman.
biologically, yes.
Yeah, you could call them a woman. I also say I do like the term born female or born male. I feel like that's much better to say than, real or biological or what else do people just normal, all of that. I don't
Natural.
agree with those. Yeah, I think born female, born male, like that makes it very clear.
That implies a trans person wasn't born that way.
What about what?
That a trans person wasn't born as a woman, even though they were physically assigned male at birth. I think assigned male at birth or assigned female at birth is much
That's a good point.
Yeah,
That's a good
AFAB,
point.
AMAB,
Huh?
AFAB, assigned female at birth,
Yeah,
AMAB, assigned male at birth,
absolutely.
or IAB, which is assigned intersex at birth.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate you educating me on it.
Nikki, we just like to fuck around with the biological because me as a cis woman, I just get so agitated with I'm a biological. We're all biological, you dipshits. Like, the superiority as a cis woman just aggravates the crap out of me.
Nikki,
The
you and I can be
gatekeeping, oh
robots
my
if you
God,
like.
you don't know what it's like to have a period bullshit.
I actually
Nikki,
tell
you and I can
people
be
though,
robots
like
or
that.
cyborgs
Oh,
if you
sorry.
like. No, you and I can be cyborgs if you like.
No.
I keep telling people I've got enough metal in me now that I can be a robot.
The whole thing though is like, I hate when people say biological woman because like, you say that, I'm thinking female. There's no reason to put all these descriptors. So I'm just like, you do realize that you don't want to be called a cis woman, but you're still going to put yourself a label as a biological woman. Why?
That's exactly it for me. I hate being
Because then I'm
reduced
like, the
down to being
trans
a
people
fucking
are
baby
still
factory.
winning because of that. They're winning because you still got a label, right?
Well, my point, I tell people, sit on the couch in your living room, look around, and please tell me what in that room does not have a label.
Uh-huh.
Right? They can't answer that.
Twilight, I am going to let you deal with Southside, since you were the person in the room that can deal with that. Just let me know if it
I
becomes
was
a
gonna
problem.
say, they're not personalities, they're alters.
Right. Well, and that's why I asked about age, because MPD has been removed for a long time, and so, like I said, you let me know if they become a problem. Yeah,
That's fine. It's
if
just
it was
that
20 something years ago, that is what they would have been told as MPD.
So I will say, when it comes down to having alters that have different
Twilight, I don't want to derail that way. I was just going to let you deal with them in the comments.
Anyways.
And Jag, we don't. The community doesn't use that term anymore. It's very offensive.
It's actually appears to be a language barrier. They're not from here, and so they are referring to their country, and they are asking questions to learn.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can answer the questions in the comments.
Oh,
thank you,
forgot your
Twilight.
Oh yeah. Hey, Werewolf, are you surprised to see me in here?
Hi. Get your treat. Get your treat.
We're all good.
No, she was just asking if you were surprised. It was quite the little court hearing. We had to discuss with everybody on the panel, and we had to do a
it's good.
poll.
It's good. I love Nikki. I have all the time in the world for Nikki. They've been amazing to me the whole time.
even though me and Hunter do have different opinions too on a lot of stuff, but we can still hold those conversations. You know.
Well, yeah, and that's how I
think
got to know you was by
yeah.
following him in to share space with you and watching the conversations, and then, we had to have a message conversation, so that made us mutuals on one account, and you followed me on the other. Yeah, then that's when Nikki came in. I was like, well, we're mutuals, so.
No, and the
yeah.
thing is, I like that there's a difference of opinion sometimes. I think that we need to remember that as trans people and people of different sex and gender, we do actually have separate opinions, and that is allowed, and that's part of what community is. Like, I don't necessarily agree with everybody, and I either shut my mouth and listen, or I'll argue with someone until the cows come home. It doesn't bother me either way. Or I'll do both.
Right. Oh, go ahead, Danny.
I just want to make one statement that blankets it all. Having a difference of an opinion is about where a road goes, not who has rights and who should be protected.
Yeah, gotcha.
I like that. I like that phrasing also. Like, if you have a difference of opinion, that just means that you're not a robot, because we all are different. If we were all the same, we'd be all robots.
I think you're allowed your until it affects my life. That's my point.
Well, and I got my voice on here and began going live to humanize my kids. As a parent that did make care decisions for a minor, and having my other one being an adult, and the struggles that she's going through, I, as a parent, wanted to humanize them. And I think that we get so caught up in the labels and the trans medicalist and not trans enough for the trans club and all of the stuff that's happening within, that we forget that we're human. And so with bringing Nikki up, like I said, I'm mutuals, and I'm really glad that Shannon chose to do the poll and bring her up, because I think that we've had, good discourse, and we've kept tempers down, and we've used our words, and we've not done the name calling, and we're trying to figure out how to fix this for everybody, how to make everybody comfortable and not have anybody feel targeted. And we're trying. It's not, Rome wasn't built in a day, because I'm old and can say shit like that and know what it means.
I would have to, and from my perspective, I've enjoyed having Nikki in the space. I've learned a few things, and I have a little better understanding of Nikki
But I'm
now.
still problematic, just so everybody knows.
Oh yeah, absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely.
The most.
But I have been trying to like make bridges with people. Like, as problematic as I am, I do hold my own beliefs, but it does start with building bridges. We have to, even, obviously there's some people that I cannot build bridges with, and they but for the people that I can, that's where I'm gonna focus most of my time on, because I am the opposition, right? Essentially, I came in here basically as a 7-on-1. I am the opposition, but I like
Where'd
that
Daddy go?
Shannon, that they had this space where it's polite conversations only, and everybody's been basically polite, so we can't really,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
there could be
I
like
really,
others.
really try. Danielle is back up.
Yeah.
Danielle, are you okay?
Not really. This is why we need more training when it comes to disabled and special needs individuals. Basically, the ambulance came and they tried to take his blood pressure, but he can't tolerate that sensory wise and was moving. And then they were like, well, we can't get an exact reading, but we don't think he is having a heat stroke. And so I tried to ask them about heat exhaustion, which is different, and they were like, well, we just suggest that you take him to another place because it's too hot in here, but like I don't have another place to go to and no money for a hotel, so we're just gonna kind of, I guess, wing it. I don't have a bathtub, so I'm gonna see if I can get him to stand in the shower for a while. I mean, I'm kind of reached what I can do
Yeah.
if, you know,
If
the ambulance people are like, you know, oh well, basically.
Where
But
are you?
I won't
Danielle,
keep the
even if
space,
you
I
can
just,
get him, if you can get him in the shower and then immediately put him in front of his fan that he's carrying around, that will help.
What's the temperature outside?
outside, hold on.
And
Because
I guess
I would suggest, well, I would suggest opening the window and then putting your fans so that the outside would be blowing with the fan, so it would somewhat be cooler.
So it's 81 outside and currently 94 degrees inside. And I
yes,
can't
put the
open the
fans.
windows. I don't know what they're called. I'm sorry. But we're on the second floor, and then they're the kind of windows that like take up an entire room space. But they they're like bolted shut. Um, there is no windows. That's why I'm saying there's no air circulation in here.
Break the
So I
window?
bought a fan for my room and his room, and one that he can hold. I'm not trying to make. I'm so sorry. It's full stack. I'm not trying to make this about me. I'm not like that. But you guys wanted an update, and so I'm updating. I won't take up the space in the box.
Danielle, do you have a couple bucks and a store nearby? Can you get empty out a toy box or a tote or some big plastic container, get some ice in there and put the fans in front of that?
Okay, so I have totes.
Okay, so you've got
You
totes,
mean
like I
to
said,
like cut
empty
a
them
hole
out.
in it?
No, you don't even have to go that far. You can just get the ice in there and then have the fans in front of it so it's pulling that cooled air. It'll be some type of temperature change since you can't get the windows open.
Danielle, are you okay?
I'm okay. I'm
Who's
not worried
having?
about
Hold
me.
on. Who's having a heat stroke?
Probably both of us, but I'm not worried about me.
So did the
The
ambulance not take
hospital
him?
right now.
Family? Is it a family member?
No, my child.
Wait, Daniel, they
I'm sorry.
didn't take him?
No.
So you're back
They
at
said
home?
because they never left. They came inside the apartment and attempted to take his blood pressure. Because they could not get an exact reading on it, they basically guesstimated and was like, well, we think he's okay, but he's definitely overheated. You should go someplace tonight. And I was like, oh, that's not really an option, but okay.
So they're still there?
No, they left. They
Oh,
left. They were here all of 5 minutes, and then was like, okay, have a good night.
well, that's frustrating.
Okay. Yeah, if you can, like I said, any big container with the ice will, as it's melting, it will give off cooler air above it that the fan can at least pull through. If you can put some in any sort of container or sink or something and maybe encourage him to somehow put his hands in. I don't know if there's like something, kind of make it a game to like drop something in and get it out so that he can get the cool at, like I said, the pulse points are the most important. So you got the jugular at the neck, you got the femoral at the groin, and the wrists. If you can get any of those areas cooled, it will help as the blood passes through whatever coolness is there. It can begin to cool him down. So like if you
Yeah, I've
have,
always lived in a place where I had a bathtub, so like I don't now,
right,
and so I wasn't sure, you know. There is a 7-Eleven about a half a, I don't know how to explain it. It's like across the street. I
okay,
have cameras in my house to watch him though, so I believe they have ice in like bags there, and I have totes from you know moving
yeah.
in storage.
If you have some waterproof, some sort of toys or things that you can just drop in there with a little bit of water and just like get
Oh
him
yeah,
like,
he
yeah,
definitely has that. Yeah.
just trick him into reaching into it.
Were they
I
able
think he'd
to
be more
get the
willing to do
temperature?
that than say that one more time.
Were they able to get the temperature since they can do that infrared non-contact kind of thing now?
No, they didn't do anything except take his blood pressure, and he moves because he doesn't understand, and the sensory from it tightening. And then they were like, well, we can't get a reading, and we're gonna guess this isn't heat stroke or heat exhaustion, and then they left. They told me
How
to
is the
take him
temperature
somewhere.
not the first thing you would check? It's the easiest. They didn't care.
Yeah, and but they were here. I mean, I can send you all the number of me calling, and they were definitely here. They
No,
didn't
no,
do
we're
anything.
not questioning that, hun.
No. I'm
Um,
so sorry this has
but yeah,
happened.
I think I'll do what Divergent said and go see if 7-Eleven has any ice. I'm hoping they do. They don't always. But putting his hand in water isn't really an issue. He likes to play with water. It's the rags on him that is the issue with the
Yep,
sensory. So I'm hoping that
just
works.
yeah, just trick his butt into reaching in there several times because it'll be colder than a bath would have been anyway.
Does does any of your windows open or no?
The windows aren't capable of being opened in the apartment that I'm in.
There's
Like there's no way to physically open
stationary
them.
window. They're not.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
But yeah, I'll do that. I'm gonna go get
Okay.
that. Like I said, before anybody in comments thinks I'm leaving my disabled child alone, I have cameras that you can talk through.
Grab him an ice cream or a icy or
He
something
won't
as
need it.
well to get the cool.
He won't need it.
And no, would he drink an icy?
No.
No.
Nope.
Okay.
Anything you can get
Yeah.
him to eat or drink will help cool him
Yeah.
off on the inside.
Yeah. Anything that he might
Well,
do cold, whatever.
we've been doing a lot of ice
Oh,
water and iced tea,
Okay.
like real
well,
iced tea.
people in the comments were asking uh, if Danielle had a cash app that they could send her some stuff to help out. I don't know if that's.
I mean, I do is in my bio, but I really don't want people to think that this is me trying to get something from people. I'm so sorry if it's coming off that way. I'm not like that.
I don't think it's coming off that way.
Honey, it
To be
totally
honest.
isn't coming off that way. We're coming off like concerned people.
Okay. Thank you. I'm just not.
And we care about
I'm
you.
not used to help or support. So if I come off as being rude, that's not my intent.
I'm still working on
It's.
that myself, hon. Believe me, everyone is.
Did you put your ball under there again?
Yeah, see, that's this, and I know it's not you guys specifically in the panel, but this is why I don't like share anything about my life. The J person, Cash ain't gonna fix the heat issue. I didn't ask for Cash. I never even mentioned asking for like why am I?
Oh, well, no,
Anyway,
there was an asshole earlier that said stop worry about cooling your kid down and not giving them puberty blockers. I
Oh
mean,
my
that's
god.
yeah, some people
wow,
are just assholes.
Worry about Jay. His royal have been
Anyway.
taken to the door.
Okay.
Tay Tay, I'm gonna go get ice. I'll be right back. Okay? Remember, if you want to talk to me, talk there. Okay? Where's the camera? Show me.
Chirp
Very good.
Daddy, they're
Okay.
having air conditioning issues.
Wait a minute. You're asking what's bringing the heat? Like what's causing the planet to be so hot right now? You're not really asking that, are you?
Oh, Jesus. Oh, Nikki, I did want to point out this oi oi, what's in store for you person. Someone earlier had asked what cis meant, and they said natural, normal, biological woman. So not only did they not want the
Yeah.
three-letter word as a descriptor, they chose 3 additional words.
So that means the trans people are winning.
Exactly. Just keep labeling yourselves, huh?
I tell people this all the time. I'm like, you don't want to be called cis, but you call yourself like the trans people are still winning by giving you a label.
Yep. Yep.
Way to go.
Oh, your pronouns don't matter. Where do you use them? Every day.
Right. Crip Daddy, it's just hot and their air conditioner isn't working.
If you get overheated, you can have an upset stomach also. So that it can be that could cause it also.
Stomach cramps are about the first thing. I get heat sick nowadays because of my disability, and It sucks.
Lickety splits, LGB rights aren't at risk because of the trans movement necessarily, but because I'm a lesbian and I recognize that gender expression varies, yes, some of the women that I would have dated or been in relationships with may have issues going to the bathroom because people want to make laws about people going to the bathroom.
Well, but now people are going to say, how are you a lesbian with 2 kids?
3. Yes, because non-consensual pregnancy happens and because artificial
I'm sorry.
insemination happens.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no, it's the kid's 35. Yeah, it's not a raw trauma, but no, because people are assholes and do what they want, and sometimes people get pregnant from that. And then other times we have little syringes and little cups, and we ask our friends to jerk off and save it for us.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I really like to get offensive at times.
That
That's all
was
right.
very clear information.
Well, I didn't want there to be any. We went through the sperm bank and spent tons of money and it didn't work. And so our known donor is still very much a friend of mine. I've known the man for 23, 24 years. He's a massage therapist, which is amazing to have him as a friend in the family. Yeah, we're good friends. The kid knows who he is. They don't have a parental relationship because that wasn't the deal. But yeah.
Well, this
Yeah,
has been pleasant.
we don't need to. Yes, it has. Thank you.
Hi, thank you.
Just trying to, just trying to talk. And I think that's the only way. Listening to other people's opinions and other people's things, or other people's stories and stuff. There's always stories. I love stories. So.
Yeah.
You have a wonderful night, Nikki.
Yeah, I gotta wake up in 5.5 hours.
Gross.
Well, get some sleep.
Yeah.
Now that
I
we've
hope you have a good
had
night,
time
Nikki.
now that we've had time to talk, I might pop into your space so you'll know who I am when I'm coming in.
Well, I have some spicy topics every once in a while.
Yeah, the Dreamcatcher account, I have.
Oh, the Dreammaker. Dreammaker's
Dreammaker.
Total satire.
Yeah, I have had some really good, and now mind you, I've been in very poor mental health for several months now, but since June it's been bad, and I can tell you that account has actually made me LOL because most of the time it salts, smiled a little then stopped. But no, actual out loud belly laughs with some of the shit that I've seen in there. It's skirting on the edge at times, but
it's some of the things that people say, and I'm just like, what? I actually got suspended today for 7 days because apparently hate speech.
Oh shit!
I get that all the time.
I love it when they must have that bad Wi-Fi after you've blatantly blocked them or dropped them, and you're just like, I don't know.
Bad Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
I love when you block them for awful things, and then they go to your videos and comment on them awful things. I'm like, well, thank you for the engagement.
You guys should see my DMs.
Always the DMs that I get.
Oh yeah, I know my
What I
daughters
do
are
is
terrible.
I have 644 unread DMs. Or requests.
So I'm having a semi-intellectual conversation with Blue Onyx. They can't seem to
It's a fact that I'm a biological female. Oh my god. Blue Onyx, you're letting the trans people win.
I can't, you can't offend me. I'm sorry. If you ask questions like that, you can't offend me. All I can do is correct you. I'm not offended. I'm just correcting you.
Wait, so if they're
Wait, hold up. What
are trans people?
No, hold up. Big Shug. Yeah, we can, because when we see our women acting up, we're gonna say something about it. Who the fuck are you?
Wow.
To understand that too.
Can you say INCEL?
As a cis man.
I mean, unless you're polyamorous and a dominant, you wouldn't have
Oh
multiple
boy.
women that you would be able to say something about their behavior. Other than that,
Well, Nikki is trans. That's the thing.
As a cis man, Big Shug, that is very, like, I can actually say that it's very misogynistic.
Yeah,
And
but
I
a
sex.
lot of people say, how can you be trans and be transphobic? Apparently it happens. So, yeah. Like I said, it's been pleasant, but yeah, I am
yep.
problematic. I can be problematic at times, but I try to keep it, my opinions are my opinions and my opinions only. But I would say that my opinions should not have to affect anybody else's life because I'm not in a position to change anybody's life, like politically or anything
I
like
mean,
that.
they
You
kind
know what
of
I
do when you go around telling people that, like, I, for example, am getting people intentionally banned. It does affect my life.
Wait, what?
Yeah, when you go around, like, telling people that I'm intentionally trying to get you banned, or that if I come up in your lives, I'm reporting you, or I'm reporting people that you know, that affects my life.
Who is this?
Is this a fact or is this a hypothetical?
Oh no, that's a fact. Nikki has done that to me in the past.
Who is it?
Oh,
Who is
okay.
it? Who are you?
You don't know who this is? This is Puck.
Oh, Puck.
Puck's total lack of surprise.
Oh my God, Puck. That's because we hear a lot of stuff about you, and everybody says
Yeah,
that you
I'm sure.
report everybody.
People say all kinds of things. People put me on lists and call me a transmedicalist
Oh
sympathizer.
no,
Do you think
no!
I'm a
That list.
transmedicalist sympathizer just because I know that wasn't Nikki? I'm
I'm like,
saying, for
well, we'll
example,
call that
people
one out
do
on
do
purpose,
say a
though.
lot of things. People do say a lot of things about me. That doesn't necessarily mean that anything is true. And I think
Yeah,
that
but
you and I have had enough conversations in the past and have had enough
well, since
dialogue to
then,
be able
yes.
to, like, put this kind of shit behind us without you getting
But
upset
the
and going
problem
around
is that
spreading
when the
rumors
whole
before
chat
actually coming
says
to
it,
talk to me. But apparently I'm wrong, because you did go around starting these rumors without actually
I
talking to
didn't
me.
know you were in the live, and people were like, "Puck's reporting, Puck's reporting, Puck's reporting."
And you have a tendency to just believe anything anybody comes up and says, like the time somebody tried to accuse me of being a
Yeah, that person.
pedo.
I'm sorry. I'm just going to remove that person from the chat because at the end of the day, what it does is like diverts the conversations that we're having. That somebody else has got to come up and say something. I'm just going to remove that person. Welcome to TikTok.
Yeah,
Like
that's
I'm
fair,
just going to
Nikki, and I'd
remove it.
understand that if it
But
was
but
like, if
Puck.
it was your live and somehow
Hey,
I'm causing
Monet.
that disruption in your life.
See,
But
now
it's a
you're doing the
completely
same
different thing
thing
when
to
you're going up
Shannon's
into, like,
live too.
Vroom's live, for example, and saying the same thing
Whoa.
in
But
Vroom's
see,
live.
now
Whoa.
you're doing it to Shannon.
As the
This is
co-host,
their
I'm
live.
going to ask that this.
Whoa.
No, I'm simply saying, Nikki, it would be a lot easier next time if you have an issue. Just go to the person directly and talk to the person directly and find out what's actually going on before going around spreading
No,
rumors.
I'm
It would
not
make
gonna. I'm not.
your life a lot easier, and it would make it
Now,
actually
hold
look
on.
like what you're
I'm not
saying,
spreading
Please, can we
that you
rumors.
hold on
don't
a
do these
second?
kind of things, make
Can we hold
a
on a
little more
Yeah.
second?
factual.
If you guys want
Rooms
I,
should
to,
be
I would.
safe for DMs.
Yeah, I would say that I'm not spreading rumors, but like, if it's said in my live, and my moderators are good at what they do, if they hear something like that, they're just gonna remove you. And then I'm
So,
gonna have to remove you. That's not my
I mean,
position. My position is just to have conversation. It's the same reason why Shannon has moderators in here. Is that way we can still have conversations up here, and they don't have to worry about the comments because they have
so if I
moderators.
so
may,
as
Nikki,
as
if I
as
may,
an
Yes,
oh,
sorry.
if I may, I'm going to say that Puck is an awesome person, has never been problematic in my lives ever, and I could definitely vouch for him. But I will say this conversation would be better for DMs,
Yes, it
and
would.
maybe you could unblock Puck so that you could have that conversation.
or share Discord usernames or something. But as an example, Puck, there was somebody in the comments that said, here, let me help you. There was nothing else that was said. I assumed that he was probably going to report the live, so I removed him. And I don't know who Nikki's mods are and if that's how they operate or not.
Yeah. I mean,
Lily, honey,
that's how
there's
they.
currently not any boxes. There's nowhere to put you. You can wait.
Yeah, that's how they operate. Like they. I have the 3 best mods in the world that I could ever do, because most of the time, since you guys see how you guys are like reading comments and stuff, like I tried to tell people that are in my box, don't read comments because we're having a conversation up here. You know what I mean? So essentially,
Yeah.
in the lives that I have, there's conversations up top, and then there's a different conversation happening in the chat.
Like,
yeah, I do that. Usually if there's no op, then we talk to the
Oh yeah.
to the chat, but if there is op, I don't look really too much at the chat.
But
I will say I understand. I've had to remove mods because they were overzealous and kicking people out for no reason, just because they didn't like their name or something. But I can get that frustration. But maybe you and Puck can come to an understanding where he would be welcome in your lives. But that's between you two.
yeah.
1 second. Irish, we know that this is not the real Irish account because you still have 0 followers from when you were in Gay Santa's live last night. You are still a troll account and you are still not welcome in any space that I have any power over.
Oh boy.
That's not Irish.
No, there's
It's not.
0 followers. 0
I wanted
followers.
I wanted to say that like I don't like drama. I
Neither
really
do
don't.
I.
I hate drama so much. Yes, do I have certain opinions towards Nikki? I mean, yeah, like I've seen the lives and the way you've talked about
Yep. Can you just have an opinion without
yeah,
doing
it's
that? Like
just
we're trying to keep it.
no,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
like so like I get it, and at the same time, Puck, I personally don't want a drama to be brought into here when there
Yeah.
isn't drama going on.
And that's the same thing. I don't
I
want
wasn't
drama
trying
in
to
my
spark up
life
drama.
either. So like,
Right.
I don't want drama
Again,
in
I
my
wasn't trying
life.
to
So
spark.
my people, my mods, and me, I'm just gonna remove them from the live. I'm sorry. That's
So
just the
again,
way it works.
Nikki, I wasn't trying to spark up drama. Okay, I was just if you're going to make statements about yourself, and it seems to be not credible, I have a tendency to call those things out.
Well, I'm gonna say that my opinions shouldn't really affect anybody else's life
But
because I'm
again,
not in a
see that
position
was
of
the
power.
statement though.
Okay, but I'm not in
That
a
was the statement
position
that
of
I had an issue
power.
with because
Oh
the
my
things that
God.
you do, Nikki,
Can
the
I
things that you
finish?
say do affect other people.
But I'm not in a position of power where it should affect them.
Okay, but if you're going into people that like I frequent,
Okay,
like Vroom, for example,
God.
and I'm having
I don't
conversations
go
with
to
people in
Broom
Vroom's
anymore.
live, and you, Nikki, you have.
I have.
Okay,
Hey,
I
hey,
if you
hey,
haven't.
come
guys.
into those
But
lives
anyways,
and you say these
Stop.
things,
Puck.
Puck.
Hey,
Okay.
hey,
Hold
it
on.
guys.
does
Nikki.
cause
Nikki.
issues in other people's
Guys.
lives.
Uh, Shannon already said this could be a conversation for DM, so can we please drop it,
Yeah.
Are
please?
we at so if it was said, are we at a point, Nikki, that you're not telling anybody that Puck reports people's lives?
Well, I said it in my last live when he was there because people were saying
Okay.
it in the comments.
Hold up. Hold
Okay,
up.
But
so
And
people in the
you said it
also,
in
comments.
other people's
oh
lives
my
as
God.
well.
Please,
But
please
also,
kick Big
Divergent
Okay.
Shug,
Mama.
Shug right now.
I
Kick them
just
right
want to say
now.
one last
They
thing.
Okay.
just,
Hang on,
Nikki,
Nikki.
uh, uh, take Big Shug out of the comment section because they have just insinuated violence against women. Take them out of the comments
Yeah,
right now. Please.
Okay, but Big Shug, before you're removed, do you have an issue with Fallon Fox, who created an orbital fracture, which is the #1 fucking injury in that type of sport?
Please take the time after I kick you out of here and you got all the time to look up Patricio Manuel, who's a trans man beating the fucking face off of other cis men. Go look them up in all your free time I'm about to give you.
But what I wanted to say at the end of the
What are
day,
you gaming doing, Mama?
I follow the 3 Fs. Do we all know what the 3 Fs are?
If you're not
Yes.
feeding me, fucking me, or financing me, your opinion doesn't matter.
Exactly. And I think more people need to follow that mantra. Just saying. Yeah.
Oh, Danielle, you need to ask a question? Go
Do you
ahead.
need to come up or in the chat?
I will drop for Danielle. Hold on.
I was going to be leaving anyways. Shannon, thank you for having me here. Everybody else, you
Yeah.
all have a good night. Maybe
too.
we'll have another good conversation in the future. Thank you.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for being polite.
Yeah, no problem.